was looking around good old social media, and I actually noticed all these beautiful bits of furniture and cushions and all that kind of stuff. And because I'm at that age, I'm drawn to these more than anything else right now. And then I realised that the Mia in the name was yours. Was this something that you have been sort of plotting, in one way or another for many years, or has it all just been in the last year that you've really said, "Oh, I'm going to do this"?
I've for years wanted to do it, but never with any real belief that it was ever going to happen. I mean, it's just one of those little dreams. Oh, imagine if I had my own shop, I'd love it. But I suppose my sister moved down here into this area about a year ago, and I started to come up and down this just by the port to go to her house because it leads to her house. And I just thought, oh wow, I really want to do it. And I started to park outside this shop, which was all closed up and boarded up. And visualization works. I would sit out for about 5 minutes before I'd go up to her, and I would just close my eyes, imagine myself putting the key in the door, and imagine going in, and imagine myself, I sound like a bit of a lunatic, imagine myself sitting with the clipboard taking appointments for my styling appointments, and literally that's what I did. And eventually my daughter died at Christmas.
Right. Well, they are moments that refocus your entire life and what you're doing with your time and your energy and all that.
Absolutely. That kind of catapulted me into saying, I need to do something or I'm going to go under.
Right.
And it kind of sort of changed everything, and I just decided to start looking, and not necessarily at this building, but looking around. There was one a few doors down, and I just inquired, and it turns out the rents down here aren't too bad. It turned out that it was more than a possibility. It was actually maybe doable.
Wicklow Town, my sister lives here for nearly 20 years, and I just, without being sacrilegious, I do think it's a prettier town than Greystones or many of the towns around, just given the harbour is still the harbour and quite beautiful little streets and all that. And it amazes me that it's not, the epicentre of a lot of activity, but I think it's going to happen at this point. Yeah. So I would imagine that it was quite an easy, healthy fit when you arrived here, that it does seem part of a sort of a slightly bohemian. Yeah. There's a bit of a kind of a boom renaissance.
Something about the port that, because it's a really working port, and there's always something. They're always loading wood, and the fishermen are always outside. There's people canoeing up the whatever.
Yeah.
There's a feeling of activity and life even through that COVID period where it was everywhere was kind of felt very pushed down. It felt like it was still alive. And I just sort of felt, and also there's a quite European feel, it sort of felt like my sister goes to France, she felt it was like a little place she goes to in Normandy or somewhere like that, right. And she just loved it. And I just fell in love with it. I don't know, there's a spiritual connection with it for me. I really love it.
That move from, obviously people would know you as a singer, and then you're designing jewellery, and you've sort of basically been in the arts world in different ways, but the move to actually putting together a premises and stocking and all that tends to frighten the crap out of most people. They just think that's going to be a lot of admin. I mean, were you always sort of in love with the process? Was it a tough kind of pull?
It's funny. It's fallen into place. Very domino effect in a good way. Fallen into place. I would be terrified of anything to do with admin or computers or online anything. And I'm very slow to get this online shop going. It is there, right. But it's just a matter of me going, bing, let's go with it. But all the other stuff, the buying, the sourcing, the sitting there for hours, 3, 4 in the morning, looking for places to buy things, finding the right pieces, that for me is heavenly. I love it. So there's no, it doesn't feel like going to work anymore, or even that, if I go home and I work all night, it doesn't feel like work, it feels like my happy place. So it just felt like the right time. My other business had fallen apart, and this seemed like just the next step.
Well, the lockdown has definitely forced a lot of people to redesign the wheel. They have to sort of rethink what they do and how they do it, and will it work and all the rest. And that would seem to be the perfect example here, is that you're in this world really already, but this is a different facet of it, a different way of being in this world. But obviously one that makes sense now that we're hopefully kind of lifting that's not that the strange funk that's out there has lifted entirely, but there's a sense that there's a bit of bloom coming back in the world and all the rest. So it just seemed like, timing wise, it just seemed like the right time to be kind of be out there again with a different groove.
What I feel from the customers that we're getting, there's a sigh of relief as they come in the door. Literally, people are coming in and going, "Thank you for opening such a really beautiful place." And the thing is, this is like my house recreated in a shop, and I know that it's something it's like I'm copying on now. My house I was always doing up almost as a stage. You know what I mean? I was always doing it, and I love people coming in and going, "Oh, I love being here," and that's what I want. It's more, even more than making it or being really successful. I love that reaction. I love people coming in and going, "Oh, it's beautiful," and finding something they love. That just gives me such a thrill, you know. And the idea is that, you know, there'd be something here that costs £4 that a child can come in and buy for the mother, but everything is beautiful.
Right.
So the aesthetic has to be beautiful, whatever comes in here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I wanted it to be really affordable because I hate that thing of exclusivity.
Sure.
You know, where only the elite can buy the beautiful things. There is beauty for everybody, you know.
And we all fear walking into a shop that it's way out of our price range, and we just feel this kind of awkwardness that we've now in a situation we try to escape it, and that idea that being a curator too, like just choosing that this is stuff you genuinely love as opposed to, I bet you they'll love this, and you know, but you have no affection for it. That's so
it has
important.
to be something that I love. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We should mention the sideline or the sort of the dual kind of purpose too of the premises are the exhibitions, and we have Carenza's New Beginnings on Thursday the 19th, running till the 27th. But that's going to be a big part of the shop as well, that you'll always have this space to show off original art and people's exhibitions and all that.
Well, Maybe. That was the plan.
Okay. Okay.
So we've got this beautiful. We built, myself and my partner Mark. We took this over. He basically did most of the work on it, and we turned it from a gym to this beautiful shop. But at the back of it, we wanted to leave a space for exhibitions. So we've had an exhibition by a girl in Jane Williams in Mayo. Carenza is this Thursday, and then we've got Nessa McCormick in September. And the idea was that every month we would have an exhibition. But what's happened is it's almost like, you know, the analogy would be like it's like the tide is coming in, the shop is growing, and it's just moving in, and I'm not going to have the space to do it, unfortunately.
Okay.
What I'm doing is those two, and then maybe February I've got another one by a woman called, by coincidence they're all women so far, Helen O'Connell from Wexford, hopefully in February. There's another guy, Mark, his second name escapes me, possibly do one just after that. But what I think what we'll do after that, if we can't do the exhibitions, because I really do want to represent artists, is to feature an artist every month in the shop. If we don't have the gallery space, we'll definitely feature artists.
Right.
It's an awful lot of work and an awful lot of empty space for a month.
Yes.
And then a little exhibition for a week. And
right.
You know, to pay the rents and to pay everything, we need to keep.
Well, I know people like the Happy Parent that have done that idea where they'd have the work, you know, as part of their living, kind of, you know, they're up on the walls, and, you know, there would be enough of a kind of, you know, beauty of that, just being able to catch stuff that's original and especially alongside all this amazing stuff. So I don't know whether when you had this vision of this is what you'd like to do and you're imagining the key and all that, was this what you imagined, or is it, I don't know if it's always surprising you, maybe it's better, maybe it's different, I don't know if there's a certain kind of reality to it now.
Oh, sugar, sorry.
Someone coming there?
Well,
all right.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we can let them know, sorry.
Okay, sorry, just let me...
Yeah.
Sorry, we close at 3.
No, all right.
We're again on Tuesday. Thank you.
Good to know they're enthusiastic. That's the main thing. That was a setup, right? You told them to call and make a fuss. But is it what you saw? I don't know whether you would have had like a very strong vision, but I suppose it's like as you say, your house, and it's sort of expanded out to being a bigger space, and you can put all the things you love together.
It is my vision, really. My vision was to have this feeling of an ethnic bohemian place that and it's funny because this is what people have said coming into the shop. I've had people from Tel Aviv and not from, but who've been, you know, Madrid, Barcelona, California, Sydney. People coming in saying, "Wow, this is like the such and such shop in such and such," and people are saying it feels like I'm on my holidays, and I just want, you know, I seek out shops like this. So that is the idea that I kind of had. I wanted a place that was really just people felt really happy to be in.
Nice.
Even if they don't buy, I really honestly have this feeling. I just want people to be happy here, and it's just there is a lovely energy, I think.
Rock and roll. Well, I'll put the hours and the days and all that up above and contacts and all that. But it is a beautiful spot. So I do think, and Wicklow's a beautiful spot too, Wicklow Town. So lots of reasons to come down.
Yeah, absolutely.